back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's get into heavyweight fights this week.
Let's get it. I'm excited.
So we had Jarrett Anderson,
AKA Big Baby, or the real Big Baby,
out of Toledo, Ohio, versus Charles Martin out of St. Louis, Missouri,
AKA Prince Charles.
I feel like we haven't watched a heavy fight in a while.
Heavyweight? Yeah, we haven't watched a heavyweight fight in a while. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it seems a few weeks. But we just had the press conference between both of them. Now, I am excited to watch. I feel like this is a step up for Big Baby for sure. And I think he really needed it. Yeah,
definitely. When I can't remember who he was first supposed to fight, but once that fight fell out and I saw it was Charles Martin, I got super excited. I was like, I told her immediately, I'm like, this is a better fight. You know, this is a name. You know, and it's exciting because, you know, he's been in there with the likes of Anthony Joshua. We've seen him most recently in our favorite fight against Luis Ortiz.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, you know, I was excited for the matchup.
Yeah, he's definitely been in there with some champs. And again, as regards to Big Baby, I feel like his previous fights was just kind of like, okay, this is too easy for me type of deal. So, I think
quick work at everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like this big step up is going to make him work a little bit more and, you know, just kind of show his skills a little more in the ring also.
Definitely. And it's a hometown fight.
It is.
You know, these hometown fights is always has me a little nervous.
But he said he's on that D&D.
Yep.
So, yeah, and, you know, we have some good fighters out of Toledo, Ohio, actually. Some up-and-coming ones, too.
Yeah, and, definitely there's some up-and-coming prospects, some people you need to look out for. You got Jahai Tucker coming off of probably one of his best performances. He's out there, and also you got probably one of my favorite prospects in Abdullah Mason.
Yeah.
So those definitely some you know, Top Rank does a good job of showcasing these fighters, and you definitely want to check them out and see who's got next.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I don't know that I've seen a fight in Toledo before, so I'm excited to kind of see how the crowd's gonna be. But press conference, I feel like they were really talking back and forth to each other. It's just a simple press conference.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
But let's get into a little bit more about the fight. Like you said, there was actually another person that was supposed to be in the fight. It was also a southpaw that he was training for, but something with the visa or something like that. They couldn't.
Yeah, some of the visa.
I wonder if it was like a UK fighter or something.
I can't remember. Remember who it was, but this is the one. That it should be.
Yes. Prince Charles, and there is like a 14-year age gap difference between both of them. So. Let's see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, but it's the heavyweight division,
so you know. It's the heavyweight. It is the heavyweight, so anything goes. But what do you think about the fighters?
To kind of get into it, so, you know, Big Baby, you know, taking Andre Ward's words, you know, he's like a middleweight trapped in a heavyweight's body. You know, he's more fluid than most heavyweights that you've seen. You know, he'll switch stances on you. He's got power in both hands. You know, he got power in both hands. And also, you know, he's got a good boxing IQ.
And he boxes pretty well also.
Yeah, and he
got power, but he knows how to box also.
And he can bang. He can bang.
He can do it.
So yeah, that's definitely you know, Big Baby. And also Big Baby got a nice jab too. He got a nice jab, nice power jab, and then he likes to follow it up with a left hook right after. But yeah, you know, so that's you know, the real Big Baby. And then you got Charles Martin, you know, who I mentioned was in probably one of our favorite fights, whatever year that was, against Luis Ortiz. And you know, he's got some power. I think in his 29 wins, he's got about 26 knockouts.
Yeah, he only got 3 losses.
Yeah. You know, he's a southpaw, and that left hand got some stank on him. Definitely got some stank on it too. Yep, and we seen him. You know, before he got stopped by Luis Ortiz, he had hurt Luis Ortiz and dropped him twice. Dropped him with a left hand, and you know, dropped him with a jab too. So you know, he's definitely dangerous, and like I said, you know, he's a previous world champion.
Yep.
So and that's kind of their background.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially since what's been going on, like with saying like he's not in love with the sport. Well, he loves it, but he's not in love with the sport. You know what I mean?
What do you think about that?
And I mean, I get it. I think that it makes sense. This is what they know what to do to feed themselves and their families and take care of their loved ones. Now, it could be a dangerous sport if you're not really committed into the sport, and I don't even really know that a lot of boxers are actually in love with getting in the ring. I feel like there's
Well,
a few.
I think you know what I think that's kind of like I mean kind of like any sports though. I mean there's even in you know on the basketball side that you know people don't really you know I can't remember it was like a top player you know was saying like oh you know most of these guys don't even like basketball, they just like what basketball brings.
Mm-hmm.
And you know I think it's the same for the fighters, but I mean my opinion on it is you know when you watch that Relentless with Roy Jones Jr. and you hear him talk about you know when he goes into his room and you hear him talk about like you know all his trophies and stuff, it just brought a smile to his face him talking about it. So I definitely think that there is some love there, but I think you know, but he says like you know the love that he found is the people that he's met, and I think that kind of you know this is just purely my opinion, but you know I think you know because he works out with Shakur, you know he's worked out with Bud, and you know he sees them, and you know they've got titles and stuff, and I think he's just very very hungry to show everyone you know hey you know I'm that guy. And you know, I think he really wants that title, you know, just like the rest of his peers.
Yeah.
So I think you know it could be a little bit of the politics of boxing that kind of maybe took his love away, but you know that's just purely off my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean he's also like good at it because if you're talking about you know that show, it was like he was saying you know I didn't ask for this or whatever he was talking about it, but he's good at what he does. But sometimes I bet it could be draining, you know, and he's a heavyweight, so it's not like he has to make weight. But you still have to, you know, come in good condition, and you have to, you know, practice. And maybe that just takes a toll on. Of course, that would take a toll on anybody. But let's see how he comes out. I think that when he gets put into trouble in the ring, because I forgot if it was his last fight. Where he kind of got hit
against Jerry Forrest,
and he got hit, and he was like, because at first he was like, whatever, you know, just another fight, but then he got hit, and it was like, oh shit, I gotta get on my A game. And then he started going crazy. He started boxing, banging, and he showed his true skills. So I feel like in this one coming up against Charles, he is gonna have to be in his A game. And I think that we're gonna see him perform very well.
Yeah, me too.
So, especially with, I think, Baby's gonna take it. Big Baby's gonna take it. What do you think?
Yeah. So just to kind of hit on some of the things you're talking about. Yeah. You know, coming into this fight, I think he said that his most difficult fight was against eBay. And eBay, that was actually his longest fight to date. I think it was like 6 rounds. And he said, yeah, you know, it was tough because, you know, he had to take his time because, you know, eBay had a lot of power coming back from on the other side. And, you know, he was able to find a way, and, you know, he was able to get eBay out of there. The other fight that you mentioned was the Jerry Forrest fight. And, yeah, Jerry Forrest, he landed, you know, and that was a southpaw. And he was a southpaw with power. And, you know, Jerry Forrest has been in there with the Big Bang and got a draw against the Big Bang. And then, and also, you know, he's got a draw, I think, against Michael Hunter. So, and what Big Baby did to him after he got hit, you know, he switched orthodox, and he pretty much overwhelmed Jerry Forrest and ended up stopping him in I think it was like under 4 rounds. He just blew through him, and we had never seen someone just blow through Jerry Forrest like that, you know, after he's been in there with those guys that I just mentioned. So, you know, he definitely, you know, he's got the power. I think one of the big things that's gonna be a factor in this is gonna be the speed of Jared Big Baby Anderson. You know, Jared, you know, he's got a lot of quick twitch muscles, and I think a lot of that has to do with you know, he was brought up as a boxer. He didn't come to boxing late. He was groomed to be a boxer, and you can kind of tell, you know, in the fluidity in which he fights. And like I said, you know, he switches stances. But I think in this fight, I think he's going to come out, and I think we're going to mostly see him in that orthodox stance. I think he's more comfortable in the orthodox, and I think he's a little better at this point in his stage in his career. I think he's a little bit better defensively in the orthodox stance. And I think he's going to actually take his time. I'm excited to see him get these rounds.
Yes, because he hasn't gotten a lot of rounds. And not to say nothing though, Charles Martin, he ain't nobody to play with. Nope. I don't know that it's someone you're going to be able to walk through just easy like that. So Big Baby gonna have to be on guard with his defense also. Because he's been, like we said, he's been in there with some big names. This is not new to him. He's got a lot more fights than Big Baby does. So I feel like it's going to be a tough fight for Big Baby. But if he sticks to his plan and he knows how to adjust if need be during the ring, careful with the big ass hands, I think he might be able to take it because of the boxing. But it's not gonna be easy.
Definitely. He's definitely. He's gonna. I definitely think he's gonna take his time, and he's gonna be a lot more patient in this fight. And I think we're gonna see more of his. He's gonna do a lot more boxing, and at least to start on in the beginning of the fight. Beginning of the rounds. But I think as the fight goes on, one of the other things about him is his conditioning. He is not, in my opinion. I feel like. We haven't seen him get those rounds, but you hear everyone talk about his conditioning in the gym, and they say his conditioning is not heavyweight like. He's doing, he's doing a lot more running, and a lot of heavyweights don't even run.
And that's gonna be to his advantage?
Yeah, I think it is gonna be to his advantage, and I think I think he's gonna take his time to in the beginning rounds, maybe 6 rounds or so, and then I think he's gonna actually pick it up. And we've seen, he can go 0 to 60 real quick. We've seen him in that Jerry Force, and one of those rounds, I think he threw over like 100 and something rounds, which is unheard of for a heavyweight. Yeah. So I think, and heavyweights tend to slow down faster than other divisions. And so I think when, Charles Martin starts to slow down, I think Big Baby gonna up it. And I think Big Baby gonna be able to get him out of there. But I don't think it's gonna be early. I think he's gonna have to take his time because Charles Martin, like I said, 29 wins, he got 26 knockouts. And he's dangerous. You could just go back and watch that Ortiz fight. You put him on the ground twice. Yeah, that was a great fight. Yeah. So he's definitely gonna have to take his time with this, and I think it's a great opportunity too. For Big Baby to make a statement, because Charles Martin, he's only been stopped by Anthony Joshua or Luis Ortiz, who we know are big hitters, big names. Joshua, previous unified world champion. So I think this could be a great opportunity for him to really get his name out there and get stuff popping.
Yeah.
And we gotta talk about this. One thing I just can't wait to see. I just can't wait to see what ring outfit he gonna come. Because he always got his costume. Yep, he got his entrances.
And he's at home. And he's at home too.
Exactly.
So he might walk out with his dog.
Yeah, we gonna have to see. I'm looking forward to see that too.
Yeah.
So we just can't wait for this matchup. The first main event for Big Baby. But that's all we got. Let us know below how you guys see this fight going. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit.